I was 6 years old the first time my mother shocked me in front of the entire family. We were at Thanksgiving dinner. My aunt asked if I liked the sweet potatoes. I said yes. My bracelet flashed red. My mother pressed the button on her remote without looking up from her plate. The shock made my fork clatter against the dish. My hand went numb. No one said anything. My twin sister Mina sat across from me, her bracelet dark and silent. My aunt smiled and said, "Well, at least one of you has good manners." My mother nodded. The bracelets were my mother's idea. She called it scientific parenting. She'd read about it in some journal, a way to raise children who couldn't lie. The bracelets were supposed to detect dishonesty, changes in heart rate, skin temperature, micro-expressions. When they detected a lie, they flashed red. Then my mother would press the button on her remote. A shock. Not enough to hurt, she said, just enough to teach. Mina and I got them the day we came home from the hospital. Pink silicone bands locked around our wrists. We were too small to take them off ourselves. My mother wore the remote on a chain around her neck. She used it on me constantly. When I was 4, I told her I'd brushed my teeth. Red flash. Shock. When I was 5, I said I wasn't hungry at dinner. Red flash. Shock. When I was 7, I told her I'd finished my homework. Red flash. Shock. Every time she'd look at me with this calm disappointment and say, "Honesty is a choice." But Mina's bracelet barely ever went off, maybe once a month. And when it did, my mother would frown and say, "That must be a malfunction." She never pressed the button for Mina. I started to think there was something wrong with me, that I was a liar and didn't even know it. My mother would tell people about the bracelets at parties. She'd hold up my wrist and Mina's side by side. "This one," she'd say, gesturing to Mina, "is naturally honest. But this one," she'd shake my wrist gently, "we're still working on her." People would nod sympathetically. They'd look at me like I was broken. I tried so hard to stop lying. I'd think about every word before I said it. I'd check and double-check everything. But the bracelet kept flashing. When I was 8, I told my teacher my mother shocked me. The teacher called home. My mother came to school the next day with printouts, research articles, testimonials. She explained the science behind the bracelets. The teacher apologized for the misunderstanding. That night, my bracelet went off 4 times. I don't even remember what I said. When I was 10, I asked my mother why Mina's bracelet never flashed. She said, "Because Mina doesn't lie." I said, "But I'm not lying either." Red flash. She pressed the button. I stopped asking questions after that. By the time I was 12, I'd learned to just accept the shocks, to not flinch, to not cry. My mother said that meant I was getting better at accepting consequences. But really, I'd just learned that it didn't matter what I said. The bracelet would flash, she would press the button, and Mina would sit there, silent and perfect, her bracelet dark. I started to wonder if the bracelet was even reading me at all. When I turned 13, I started paying attention. I'd watch Mina, listen to what she said, compare it to what I said. She'd tell my mother she loved her new haircut, no flash. I'd say the same thing the next week, red flash, shock. She'd say she'd cleaned her room, no flash. I'd say I'd cleaned mine, it was spotless, red flash, shock. It didn't make sense. One Saturday, I tested it. My mother asked if we wanted pancakes for breakfast. Mina said yes. Nothing. I said yes. Red flash. My mother looked at me. She said, "Why do you always have to lie about what you want?" I said, "I do want pancakes." Red flash. Shock. Mina ate her pancakes quietly. I got cereal. That's when I started looking back, really looking. In elementary school, Mina got the lead in the school play. I got the chorus. My mother said it was because Mina worked harder. But we'd both auditioned with the same song. We were twins. We sounded identical. In middle school, Mina made honor roll. I got B's. My mother hung Mina's report card on the fridge. Mine went in a drawer. She said, "Honest people succeed because they don't waste energy on deception." When we turned 15, my grandmother sent us each $500 for our birthday. My mother put Mina's in a savings account. She used mine to pay for repairs on the car. She said I owed her for all the extra attention she'd had to give me over the years. I didn't argue. My bracelet would just flash anyway. When we applied to colleges, Mina got into her first choice, full scholarship. I got into my third choice, no scholarship. My mother said it was because admissions officers could sense dishonesty in application essays. I'd written mine 5 times. Every draft came back with notes about how it didn't sound genuine. Mina's went through on the first try. At graduation, my mother gave a speech at the family party. She talked about how proud she was of Mina, how she'd always been truthful even as a baby. Then she looked at me and said, "And we're proud of you too, for trying." Everyone clapped. Mina smiled. My bracelet flashed red. I hadn't said anything. My mother pressed the button anyway. She said, "I saw that look on your face. Don't pretend you're happy when you're not." Part 3. 300 words. I left for college 2 months later. The bracelet came with me. My mother said I wasn't ready to take it off yet. She kept the remote. She said she'd mail it to me when I proved I could be trusted. I wore long sleeves every day. No one at school knew about it. Then one night, my roommate asked to borrow my charger. I said sure. The bracelet flashed red. But nothing happened. No shock. My mother was 300 miles away. I stared at my wrist, at the silent red light. The next day, I went to the library. I researched the bracelets. They weren't real. The lie detection technology didn't exist, not the way my mother described it. The bracelets were just toys, cheap biofeedback monitors sold online. They flashed randomly, or they could be controlled manually, with a remote. I sat there in the library, staring at the screen. My mother had been pressing the button herself, the whole time. Not because I was lying, just because she wanted to. I looked up the company that made them. They'd been sued 6 years ago, false advertising. The technology didn't work. The lawsuit settled, the company went bankrupt. These bracelets had been discontinued when I was 7. My mother knew that. She'd kept using them anyway. I tried to take mine off that night. It was locked. I'd need bolt cutters. I went to a hardware store the next morning. The clerk cut through the band in 10 seconds. I stood there holding the 2 pieces. Pink silicone, cheap plastic sensors, a tiny LED light. 15 years of shocks, of being called a liar, of watching Mina get everything while I got nothing, because of a piece of plastic. I threw it in the trash on my way out. Then I called my mother. She answered on the second ring. I said, "I know about the bracelets." Silence. Part 4. 300 words. She didn't call back. Neither did Mina. I waited 3 days. Then I called my grandmother. I told her everything, about the bracelets, the shocks, the research I'd found. She went quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I gave you both $1,000 for your birthday, not 500. My mother had kept half of mine, probably more than half over the years. My grandmother said she'd handle it. I didn't ask how. 2 weeks later, my mother sent an email, subject line, "Family Therapy." She said I was traumatizing Mina with my accusations, that I'd always been jealous, that she'd tried her best to help me become honest, and this is how I repaid her. She didn't mention the bracelets. I didn't reply. Mina sent a message a month later. Mom says you're not coming home for Thanksgiving. I wrote back, I never said I wasn't coming, but I'm not. She read it, didn't respond. My grandmother visited me in December. She brought photos from when Mina and I were babies. In every single one, my mother was holding Mina. I was off to the side, in someone else's arms, or alone in a bassinet. My grandmother said, she picked her favorite before you could even talk. I already knew that, but seeing it helped somehow. I'm 23 years old now. I haven't been home in 5 years. My wrist still has a faint line where the bracelet sat for 15 years. Sometimes people ask about it. I tell them it's from a medical device I wore as a kid. That's not a lie. My mother sends emails occasionally. Always the same message. When are you going to apologize? I never answer. Mina got married last year. I saw the photos online. My mother gave a speech about raising honest children. I closed the browser. I don't need her to admit what she did. I already know the truth.